Okay, welcome back to part 2 of section 3.2.4. We didn't get to finish all of our goals. One of our goals was to know how to solve equations, so we did solve some equations. We haven't talked about the number of solutions or how to check the answer. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of problems that they gave us. This is problems 98, and I'm going to do them really fast so that we can make it through. On 98, they gave us this problem for part A. And the idea that we need to do is we need to get all of the variable terms on one side and all of the unit terms on the other. Now these numbers are way too big. Sorry about the focus. But these numbers are way too big for us to try to do on an equation mat. So I'm going to make a decision right now. I'm going to get all of my C's, which is my variable, on this side, and I'm going to get all of my units on this side. So I already can tell I've got things all mixed up. I've got C's on this side and I want them over here. I've got units here that I want to get over here. I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to write it as I go along. So I'm going to move my C's first. How do I get a positive 25 C's from this side to this side of the mat? Well, I'm going to take and do the opposite, minus 25C. Just for writing right now, go ahead and put a minus 25C under the one that you've already done on this side. Because I just want you to see something. 25 C's take away 25 C's will give you 0. For me, I'm going to mark through it as the representing that I've gotten rid of that on that side. Now, how do I get these 300 negative unit tiles from this side to over here? Change them to a plus 300. I'm going to put plus 300 under that original just so you can see what happens. A negative 300 and a plus 300 are opposites, so they become 0. That's why when you flip it, it changes. It allows you to change side because it basically takes it off by doing the opposite. Let's simplify what we've got now. On this side, I have all my C's. 75 minus 25 C's. So that's if I have 75 of them. Take away 25, I now have 50 C's. And on this side, I have 200 plus 300, which gives me 500. I divide by the number on the C because that's what I want to get by itself. And I get C equals 10. Okay. Now, how do I check it? Well, I check it by plugging it back into what I had. 75, then it was a C, so since there was a C there, I'm going to put 10, minus 300, and I'm really hopeful that I've got the right answer. So I got the right answer, 25 times 10 plus 200, then I'm going to get an equation where both sides are equal. 75 times 10 is 750, minus 300 should be 450. 250 plus 200 is 450. So I got the same answer. So it is an equation, and since I got the same answer or same value on both sides, remember this was the check. Okay, since this is the check and I got the same number on both sides, that tells me that this is the correct answer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones. I don't know if I'll have time to do all of them, but I will talk as I go. Okay, this one already had a bunch of Y's on the same side. I'm going to take a little move before I even start just to kind of get those together. So I'm going to pull this piece and this piece together. I'm not changing which side they're on. I'm just kind of making zeros. So a 26Y minus 11Y would be 15Y's. I still have negative 4 here, minus 4, equals 15Y plus 6. Now, I'm going to continue on. I'm going to decide, I'm going to get my y's over here, and I'm going to get my units over here. Okay, here's my dividing line for my sides of my mat. 15, opposite of 15 is negative 15. That's moving this. So I'm going to put negative 15 there. That makes that 0. I'm going to move these units over here. So negative 6 becomes, negative 4 becomes plus 4. That becomes 0. Let's see what we've got when we simplify now. Zeros I don't have to worry about, but negative 15, positive 15 and negative 15 is 0y. I hope that you remember that 0 times anything is 0. So this just kind of simplifies to 0. 6 plus 4 is 10. So 0 equals 10. Well, we have a problem. 0 doesn't equal 10. And ever since you were in elementary school, I hope that 0 doesn't equal 10. But we don't have a variable. And since we don't have a variable, we have to look at them straight as the numbers that they are. And since 0 doesn't equal 10, we say that it has no solution or no answer. You just can't, there's not a number we can put in there that will make this work. Now, I want to remind you, kind of as a side note, that if I had something like this, 4x equal to 8, I would be able to find a number. Even though the numbers are different on both sides, I have a way to solve this, and I know that there's an answer. I still have a variable, and there is a number that I can multiply times 4 to get 8. So I'm going to divide, and I would get x equals 2. That's not the answer to the question we're working on, but I just want you to kind of see the difference. The variable here, even if I went back up here and I wrote 0y equals 10. Well, what number would I multiply times y to equal 10? Because 0 times 10 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. So there's not a number that will work. So when you get this kind of a situation, variable's gone, you know you're going to have no solution. But if you still have a variable, then there's a chance that you might have a solution. You have to think about what's happening when that happens. This was kind of a different little situation. They said negative 1/2 x equals 6. Okay. When we get to this step, we would normally divide by negative 1/2 on both sides. I'm going to do that on the calculator. 6 divided by negative 1/2, and it tells me that the answer is negative 12. So I get x equals negative 12. Look back up here for a moment. Negative 1/2 over negative 1/2 is 1. X, 6 divided by half is negative 12. Another way to read this is, what's half of an x? If half of the x is 6, if half of what I have is 6, what's the whole piece? Well, the whole piece would be 12. When I divide a positive by a negative, I know that half of the negative quantity is going to be negative 12. Okay? So that is that one. Last one, not going to have time to really completely finish this, so I'm just going to do it really fast. I'm going to move my stuff across. So you can actually do this. T's over here, units here, okay, plus 3t's because I move those over. Okay, minus 0.8, minus 0.8. That gives me 1t equals 1 minus 0.8. 0.2. So I'm going to get t equal to 0.2. I could check them by plugging them back in, but that's all the time we have.